Jaiva Dharma reading into the 3rd chapter today. So we'll have a small bhajan first to purify ourselves, and then we'll begin. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Natira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari. O Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. O Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Ganhavika Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Satchinandana Gaurahari Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Taratara Shishimat Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Taratara Shishimat Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Taratara Shishimat Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Taratara Shishimat Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gauri Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Jai Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Srila Baladevi Vibhushan Gaudi Bharanta Acharya Ki Jai Jai Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai Jai Srila Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parsada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Siga Hol Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautam Dvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Dhanadvip Modamdvip Udadvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwadasa Vartmaka Shri Brajamandal Prikma Ki Jai Shri Radhakund, Shamakund, Ganga Devi, Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Shrimati Purnamasi Devi Yogamaya Maharani Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai, Ketramandal Ki Jai, Sarva Vigna Vinashakari Shri Nrsingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Chari Dham Ki Jai, Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai, Chari Acharya Ki Jai, Akara Mat Rat Raj, Sri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Sri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gauda Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Om Meghina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadaliye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Priya Sarupe Daita Sarupe Prema Sarupe Sahajabi Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhueka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kuruna Vartino Kalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Sam Swavakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dudikatam Vasatipita Sadahradare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha Yam Prabhajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tammayatayo Tarabo Binidustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Vajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Paradaram Tato Mamanasti Katyana Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvayivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. And first of all, offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela, Pravishta Om, Asto Tadasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions and millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Leela, Pravishta Om, Asto Tadasara Shishimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I'm offering the same again unto our dearmost Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gauda Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. And all our esteemed and most honorable Rupanuga Guru Vargya and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vancha Kalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. So coming to our subject matter of Jaiva Dharma, and we'll continue with our Falshruti. It's quite remarkable, for so many months now we've been going through this Falshruti, and yet every time it just seems to reveal by itself newer and newer appreciations of the subject matter that we're discussing. The principal subject matter is the same message all the time: matter and spirit, matter and spirit. Matter is categorized as dharma when it's material dharma, and spirit is nitya prem, nitya dharma. So we have these two considerations, and our chapter at the moment is naimitic dharma, should be relinquished. So this naimitic dharma is the material dharma that we all follow and adhere to, that is dictated by the governments, etc., by the social system, by all of the various impositions that individuals place on each other. This is material dharma. This is naimitic dharma. Internally, this must be rejected. Externally, living in this world, we obviously have to follow these precepts just to maintain ourselves and our families, etc. But internally, we should embrace fully this nitya dharma. Bihari, there's a Jaiva Dharma in the bookshelf if you want. In the bookshelf, we're on the last 6, right? Jada, hey. Second. Jada Dvaita Gyana, this one? Yeah. Jada Dvaita Gyana Hoye Chita Upadaya Krishna Bhakti Chiradina Upaya Upay. Such knowledge, which is solely related to the duality of this dull material world, is fit to be rejected. That's what we've just said. This knowledge of, it's called Bhautik Gyan. So there's that type of knowledge, academic knowledge, which is not going to take the practitioner of bhakti really anywhere. When we compare, for example, the scientific description of the movements of the planets and the sun, and then we read the 5th canto, it contradicts quite remarkably. So we should accept this transcendental current of knowledge we're receiving from the Srimad Bhagavatam and reject what the material mundane scientists have conjured up in their speculative imaginations of the nature of the universe and the nature of the soul and the nature of God. It's all speculative. Is fit to be rejected, whereas transcendental knowledge of the divine duality within the spiritual world, Chit Jagat, should be accepted forever within one's heart, both as the upaya, means of attainment, and the upaye, the goal worthy of attainment. If we have this appreciation of the goal, then we can travel, we can progress very confidently if we know where we're going. If you don't know where you're going, this is the purpose of this Jaiva Dharma study, really. This is the purpose of Jaiva Dharma, the essence of Jaiva Dharma, to educate us into our journey. Where are we going? The first teaching is Sambandha Gyan, and that was in the first chapter described as the three Vastus, Krishna, Jiva, and Maya, and their relationship. So this is Sambandha Gyan. That'll be for 12 chapters. And then the Dasamula, which is the Abhideya Tattva, how to travel on that road. Once we've ascertained the direction, the path, then how to travel. And then the third section, the most divine section of the Prayojan Tattva, Rasa Tattva. What does that goal look like? What is the nature of that spiritual goal? That is all, especially the 38th chapter. We can certainly jump ahead whenever we feel the inclination to looking at the Astakalya Lila in the 38th chapter. We should, all of us as practitioners, know now where we're going. We're going to talk about Vaidhi Bhakti today and Raganuga again. We discussed this yesterday. But we should have that comfortably in our sights and understand that Mahaprabhu has come to give Rag Marg. He hasn't come to give Vaidhi Marg. So we should know this distinction. And these precepts of Rag Marg are all contained in the last 14 chapters most excellently. The last 14 chapters actually replicate the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami and the Bindu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. These are really clearly, that you can follow chapter by chapter by chapter in the sequence from, especially from the Bindu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, just to get, because the more familiar we are with the object of our attention, the object of our goal, Krishna, the more we understand about his personal nature, then obviously the goal is attraction to Krishna. Bhakti means attraction to Krishna. This is what it means. Bhakti means service, bhaje, attraction to Krishna. Jiva kabu jade nai, hari kabu nai, hari sa jiva chintya beda beda mai. The jiva is not a product of dull matter, nor is he Kevaladvaita, absolutely one in all ways with Sri Hari. The jiva is inconceivably different and non-different from Hari. This is quite remarkable how the Lord's arrangement has manifested. It's astounding, it's astonishing how the jiva has inherently the same qualities as Krishna, so that Krishna can have a significant relationship with that jiva. If that jiva was so much less than Krishna, if he didn't have the potential, that prakritamriti sadyate, if he didn't have that potential in his heart to wake up that transcendental portion of his being, which was capable of holding a relationship with the Lord, how boring in its sense it would be for the Lord. The Lord is so enthusiastic to taste the different rasas in each jiva. Each jiva has a particular individual rasa with the Lord, and the Lord is more anxious to taste that many times than the jiva is anxious to wake that up. So Krishna is making arrangements so that the jiva will wake up his dormant relationship with Krishna. And that's a very detailed description of the sthai bhav, etc. and the different moods and how to purify this restriction of Aishwarya. How can we climb over this Aishwarya bar? Krishna is so mighty, so great. It's like my Gurudev was so full of potency that many devotees, and certainly with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, I had a friend the other day, he was relating with me how he was chanting with Prabhupada in Vrindavan in 1977, just before he left his body. And Prabhupada wanted one person to be sitting there chanting while he was sitting in the garden in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir. So my friend was sitting in the garden chanting, and he said he was so much focusing on the chanting, and he was absolutely terrified to look up at Prabhupada. He didn't want to look up. He was satisfied just looking down and doing his seva to Prabhupada. But that mood is often there. Prabhupada manifested that mood for a purpose, because he wanted that Aishwarya mood to be fixed in our relationship with Krishna initially. That has to be there. If that full strength of respect is not there, then the palace of rasa will have no foundation. The palace of rasa is the path of Ragmarg. So my Gurudev, he came after Prabhupada when some of the devotees had understood what is the nature of this Aishwarya mood. We had some respect for God, so then we could have respect for my Gurudev very seldom would inspire us towards Aishwarya. He would create such a familiar atmosphere more often than not. But when it was necessary to make an Aishwarya mood, he would do that very easily. Immediately, he would be like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everyone would begin to tremble, more or less, you know. But he more than often made, like, he didn't build temples, particularly in the Western world. He went to houses. Even in Mathura, he only stayed in the Keshavji Gaudiya Math, but all his preaching was from house to house to house. He hadn't come to this world to actually build temples. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada did that because that was necessary. So time and circumstance dictates the actions of the acharyas. So we shouldn't try and say, well, Prabhupada did this and your Gurudev didn't do that. It's not to be compared in that way. They're both actually elaborating on the same principle of Shuddha Bhakti, Vishuddha Bhakti, pure devotion. And it's a path that we're going to hear today very clearly, this path coming from karma to gyan to bhakti. It's a single ladder. Deha kabu jivanai, dara bhogyanai, dasha bhogya jiva Krishna Prabhu Bhakta Hai. The material body should never be considered to be the jiva. This earth is not for the jiva to exploit and enjoy. The jiva's swarup is Krishna Das, and thus he is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, whereas Sri Krishna's swarup is Prabhu, master, and bhakta, enjoyer. Jaiva Dharma-Chapter, Deha Dharma-Kata, Nahiyache Jiva Gyan Mayavada Prata. This book, entitled Jaiva Dharma, neither discusses matters related to the dead material body, nor does it propound the Mayavad doctrine of the jiva's oneness with Brahm. So in either way, it's not karma yoga and it's not jnana yoga. It is bhakti yoga. It is the potency of pure Shuddha bhakti. Jiva Nitya Dharma Bhakti Tai Jadanai Shuddha Jiva Prema Seva Phale Payatai. The Jiva's Nitya Dharma is bhakti, devoid of material motivation. The Jiva purified by Seva, that's exactly the same as the verse we said yesterday, Savai Pom Samparo Dharma, Yato Bhakti Adhoitsaje, Ahoitiki Apratihata, Ye Atma Suprasidati. This is exactly the same meaning, this verse. The jiva purified by seva attains the fruit of that seva in the form of prem. So that prem is the fruit. That prem is the service to this unnata ujvala ras. Mahaprabhu is tasting that unnata ujvala ras, prem, in separation mood, in mohan and modan moods. He's not directly meeting with Radha, although sometimes in his meditation it's written the descriptions of this meeting are there when he goes into this Antardesh consciousness. But he principally is tasting the separation mood that Radhika experienced in Uddhavkyari for 100 years. And that mood is described as Mohan or Modan, Akya Mahabhav, not Madan. This Madan is meeting. Mohan and Modan are separation. Everything revolves around these two dynamics of meeting and separation. Okay, so we'll come to our subject matter for today on page 38. But I just first of all want to recap into the paragraph previous to where we're up to here and start the jivas bound by Maya on page 37 at the bottom, just to recap where we're actually, what is the mood we're moving through towards. We discussed Ragatmika yesterday. Okay, I'm reading from the bottom of page 37. The jivas bound by Maya are wholly unacquainted with the Raganuga nature, to say nothing of the Ragatmika nature. Just take a man on the street. He couldn't begin to think of the nature of the meaning of Raganuga. It's absolutely, totally as foreign as could possibly be. Their only focus is karma at max. The Raganuga nature may be awakened in the hearts of jivas, but only occasionally by the mercy of sadhus. Even the sadhu will come, the sadhu will speak these truths, but even how many will listen? We have in all the religious and spiritual histories that we know, how many sadhus have been fully embraced by the whole populace? Practically none, not even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna, God himself, when he comes, it's not that the whole populace becomes enamored with him. So, because why? Because the jiva has the sovereignty of independence. And with this independent mood, because without that independence, how can you possibly genuinely love the Lord unless you make the decision yourself to come to Krishna? It can't be coerced. That part of the heart is very soft, delicate, fragrant, and sensitive, and it can't be coerced. It can only be inspired. And that's the nature of all our practices. At a certain point, we stop just following like the rules and regulations out of fear. And hopefully this rag will be inspired where it's more inspirational than simply like in the army, more or less. You're following the rules and regulations out of fear. But that rules and regulations is very healthy to become acquainted with the path. The rishis and sages, they've given us these rules and regulations. We'll discuss, this will be coming up. Consequently, this Raganuga nature is rare and difficult to obtain, and those who are entangled in samsara are cheated of it by Maya. Many tricks along the way to distract us from this path. Even when we meet the sadhu, we can still become distracted and frustrated and think it's not happening fast enough. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, I said many times, he gave these three measures, we can say, that are needed to be fully embraced by the sadhak. And the first is patience. This is not going to happen overnight. I must be patient with myself. I must be patient with the journey. We're talking about crossing the entire material consciousness and coming to the spiritual place. It's not going to happen even in one lifetime, perhaps not two or even three, maybe 4 or 5. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, again, he was so encouraging. He said, yes, it can happen now. Yes, it can happen now to a certain degree, but the realization of my relationship in the transcendental world is going to take time. Why? Because I have so many impressions, sanskars from previous births. after birth that I have to purify so I can be detached fully from this subtle body. Getting detached from the gross body is quite simple comparatively, but getting detached from the subtle body, our reputation, the history of our identities, etc., is not so easy to actually purify happily and leave behind. Bhagavan, however, is all-knowing and merciful. He saw that the jivas who are bound by Maya have been cheated of their spiritual inclination. It's our inclination to go to spirit, not matter. But it's also our lower tendency to be attracted to the material flickering pleasures. Yehi shams pasaja bhava, dukkha yone etevate. Now, how will they attain good fortune? By what means can remembrance of Krishna be aroused in the hearts of the jivas who are enthralled by Maya? By the association of sadhus. The jivas will be able to understand that they are servants of Krishna. Yes, sadhu sangha, sharava shastri hoy. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sadhava siddhi hoy. Even a moment's association is sufficient. Yet, because there is no prescribed injunction that one must associate with sadhus, where is there even a hope that sadhu sangha, the association of saintly devotees, may be possible or easily attainable for all? There's no requisite in the universities today. There's no media coverage that you must seek a sadhu and associate with him. We're not hearing from that quarter. We're hearing the opposite, actually. So it's not easy for the conditioned soul to come to this path. It's covered. Consequently, there can be no auspiciousness for people in general without the path of rules and regulations, vidimag. Yes, this path of rules and regulations must be there to start to train the conditioned soul to have full respect and regard for the Lord. Unless that respect is a form of love, but it's respect is a form of love with Aishwarya. But that must be there, like I've just described, our limited history coming through Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and coming to Gurudev. That was very much Aishwarya with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And that was so necessary, that vidhi, those rules. But there should come a time when that should be purified and relieved of and left behind. The Shastras were manifested from the merciful consideration of Sri Bhagavan. Issuing forth by his mercy, the sun of the Shastra arose in the sky of the hearts of the ancient Aryan rishis and illuminated all the injunctions and rules to be followed by the populace. If we look at any rule or any injunction, initially we might think it's an imposition and difficult to follow various rules, like, for example, rising at 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:30 in the morning and sitting for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 hours vibrating Hare Krishna mantra might feel, and being very careful about offering our bhoga that we take each day. So many things might feel like a burden or an imposition, but it's a burden because of my animal-like consciousness that I just think I can do anything I want to do because I'm so desirous of pleasure. Labda sadulavam idam bahusambhavante manusyam dam artharanya turnam yateta. This verse um, accentuating that the animals even have the uh, material pleasures. Why should we be acting in such a way as to attain these material pleasures? But if we follow the rules and regulations, you start to come to the human platform by these, and this was the mercy of the Aryan rishis. So any rule or regulation, like for example, rising in the morning, is a wonderful habit to become habituated to just seeing so many dawns in our lives. The devotees have seen hundreds and hundreds of dawns, thousands of dawns, because every morning they're up at that time. And the dawn was dropped before the devas. When Lord Brahma, in the 12th chapter of the third canto, he's describing like the sunset, for example, was the that tantalizing manifestation to attract the demons away from having sex with Lord Brahma. The manifestation of that beautiful woman attracted them, and that manifestation is described as the twilight. The twilight is filled with the mode of passion. When the sun goes down, the general populace start anxiously looking for some type of gross pleasure. All the nightclubs open, the bars open. Everyone's on the street looking for pleasure, looking for some sort of gross sensation. That's passion. Whereas the dawn, the sunrise, it's described in the Bhagavatam, was Lord Brahma. He drops the sunrise, dawn, in front of the devas, and the devas take it, it's described, and they sport with it. They sport with the dawn. The dawn is the most exhilarating time of the day. And prior to the dawn, we've spoken before, is Nishanta Lila. And this is the most, what can we call, the most loving time between Radha and Krishna is in this Nishanta Lila. The most exquisite time of meeting and separation in the Nishanta Lila. So if the devotees are regularly awake and alive to this fact of Krishna's pastimes at this time of day, what could be a greater gift that the Aryan rishis have bestowed upon us to rise at 4:30 in the morning and make our lives clean and human again. So everything that the rishis have given us is positive and plus. There's a book of rules written by one devotee, and it's called A Beautiful Way of Life, because all the rules and regulations are a beautiful way of life. It gets perverted when some egotistical, abusive kind of temple commander starts shouting and yelling and making you feel very uncomfortable about it. But that's one way to learn, but sometimes we suffer different sorts of mental abuse by the rules being imposed upon us, and we can find difficulty there and even rebel against that. But the principle of the rules and regulations are only, all of them, for our ultimate good and benefit, because the rishis, they manifested them from the compassion of their hearts, prompted by the mercy of the Lord. In the beginning of the Veda Shastra, one part of the Veda Shastra teaches pious activities directed towards the attainment of material fruits, karma. One part teaches knowledge directed towards liberation, jnana, and another part teaches devotion with love and affection for Bhagavan, bhakti. The jivas who are infatuated with Maya are found in many different conditions. Some are completely stupefied, some have a little knowledge, and some are knowledgeable in many subjects. The Shastra provides different types of instructions that are consistent with the different mentalities of the jivas. This differentiation is known as adhikar, eligibility. Absolutely beautiful paragraph. This is adhikar, and we must all appreciate that and not expect everyone to be on either our fallen level or our more evolved level. Everyone has to be respected for the levels and adhikar that they are at. And Guru will always very carefully ascertain the adhikar of each of his followers and disciples and will instruct us accordingly to our adhikar. Adhikar means kar means to do. It's from the word karma. So kar means to do. So adi means the eligibility to do. This is what the etymology of adhikar means. There are countless individual jivas, and they have innumerable varieties of adhikar, which have been divided into three broad categories according to their primary characteristics. Karma adhikar, eligibility for pious action, leading to material gain. Gyan adhikar, eligibility for knowledge, leading to liberation. And Prem adhikar, eligibility for unalloyed, loving service to Bhagavan. So not all are the same. The Veda Shastra specifies these three types of eligibility and establishes proper codes of behavior for those in each of the three groups. They're not all bunched together. This world is not an institution. It's a individual movement of various jivas fulfilling their different um, karmas. This whole earthly planet is called karma yoni. Yoni means species. It's the species of karma. The heavenly planets are bhoga yoni, the species of pleasure, and lower are papa yoni, the species of sin. The dharma that the Vedas have thus prescribed is known as Vaidhi Dharma. So this is the rules and regulations given by the Aryan rishis. The tendency by which a person is compelled to adopt this Vaidhi Dharma is known as Vaidhi Pravritti, the proclivity to follow the religious codes of Shastra. Those who are altogether lacking in the tendency to follow the rules of Shastra are thoroughly avidya. So many. Just because we may live in a company of mostly devotees, don't think that most of the populace are completely, they actually are opposed to the rules and regulations. We see them here in Bengal, drinking liquor. Most of the tradesmen around here, they're all drunk in Bengal because they know inherently they're not fulfilling their true dharma and there's no one leading them in a dharmic direction. Therefore, what other recourse does an ignorant man have except come to drink? And most of his friends drink. And so many of the people in Bengal, for example, where we're living here, are prone to this disease of drinking. It's tragic. They are opposed to injunctions of Shastra. I don't mean it. They are engaged in sinful activities and their lives are given over to avidya karma, sinful like drinking, for example. Actions that defy the regulations of Shastra. Such people are excluded from the jurisdiction of the Vedas and are known as mlechas, people belonging to an uncivilized non-Aryan race. And this, sadly, means most of the Western populace and also many of the populace here in Bharatvash. It's the depth of Kali Yuga right now. We are in the winter season of Kali Yuga, the darkest Kali Yuga ever in the 1,000 Kali Yuga cycles of one single day of Lord Brahma. But the son of Mahaprabhu is there. And if with great fortune we come in contact with that, our lives are so much relieved of all the pressures that this material society is trying to impose upon us in the form of sensual activities in all different ways. The duties of those in the three eligibility groups outlined in the Vedas have been described still more elaborately in the Samhita Shastras of the rishis, who composed numerous shastras that follow the tenets of the Vedas. The duties of those eligible for karma are described in 20 Dharma Shastras, compiled by Manu and other pundits. Those conversant with the different philosophical systems described the function of those eligible for gyan. Sorry, I didn't read that from. Those conversant with the different philosophical systems described the function of those eligible for gyan. Describe, it should be, I think. Describe the function of those eligible for gyan in the Shastras, dealing with logic and philosophy. So two types of Shastra here. And finally, the instructions and activities for people eligible for bhakti have been determined by those who are learned in the Puranas and pure Tantras. All these literatures are known as Vedic because they are in keeping with the Veda. In the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his journey, when he was covered by Yogamaya initially, in his early years, his journey coming to the Chaitanya Charitamrita is described when he was very much, first of all, in his youth, influenced by the Bible, by Christianity and the views there, and then Islam even, and looking at all these different philosophies and religions. So there's a gradation here. And eventually he begins to embrace the Tamasic Vedic Shastras, and then gradually comes to the Rajasic Shastras, and then eventually comes to the Sattvika Shastras. And he's describing these In chapter 13, he describes these different shastras, which they are exactly, which Upanishads, etc., are in Tamagun, which Upanishads are in Sattvagun, because they're not all the same. An ignorant person might think, oh, any Samhita, any Isopanishad, this is actually pure, but they're not all pure. They're not pure in the sense that some are inclined to karma yoga, some are inclined to jnana yoga, and some are inclined to bhakti yoga. They're not all the same. There's a differentiation, just like there's a differentiation between the jivas. This differentiation of adhikar is there. And finally, the instructions and activities for people eligible. Oh, I've read that. Modern day pseudo philosophers of these shastras, without a view to the underlying purport of all the shastras, have tried to establish the superiority of only one of its limbs. In other words, they want to advocate karma yoga, or they want to advocate jnana yoga, and they want to separate them and say they're not connected ultimately to the ladder leading to bhakti. The Varnashram system was designed to lead us to bhakti. That's the process. But if someone tries to just say, no, it's all about nishkarm karma yoga or karma yoga activities, sakam yoga, and propagate that, and they do propagate that, or those who are advocating moksha or mukti, thousands and thousands of societies propagating this moksha as being the ultimate. And people are thinking, yes, they've separated the single goal from the ultimate goal. This is what he's saying. The superiority of only one of its limbs. This has cast innumerable people into a pit of argument and doubt. Of course, they become confused. Bhagavad Gita, which is the matchless deliberation on all these shastras, clearly establishes that karma, not aiming at jnana, is atheistic. Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters are describing karma yoga. And then the next 6 chapters are describing bhakti yoga. And the last 6 chapters are describing jnana yoga. It's described like a treasure chest. The base of the treasure chest is karma yoga, and the sides are jnana yoga, and the treasure inside is bhakti yoga. They all constitute a single chest, a single treasure chest. They're not separate. But if you try to separate and say, no, this is the school of karma only, people will become confused. They'll think, yes, that's the ultimate reality. That's it. Work very hard, like the various mottos we have, I've seen in Delhi. Work hard and fulfill your karma. This is the purpose of life. And how many people do this? So many. Huh?
So many.
So many. And then if they're not doing that, what are they doing? Oh, we've heard of moksha and liberation. This is a higher path. So then they advocate that. These are just the sides of the treasure chest. But we should know, it's going to be explained. Karma and jnana that are not directed towards bhakti are also cheating processes. They're not giving the final goal. In reality, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga form a single yoga system. This is the point. They form a single yoga system. This is a great truth that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying here. Many are not acquainted with this. Karma yoga should be evolving to jnana yoga. Jnana yoga should be evolving to bhakti yoga. It's a process. This is the Vedic Vaishnava Siddhanta conclusion. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very mercifully giving us this conclusion here.
So we can say that due to our good karmas, we come to the Gyan Yoga, and then through this knowledge of Bhakti, then we can attain the
Then
Dharma.
you'll want to give up that jnana yoga path. Karma, what's it? Karma, jnana, adi, anavritam. Anyabilasata shunyam, jnana karmadi, anavritam. This jnana and karma should be rejected ultimately, because logic and reason don't have any place in the kingdom of pure love. The jiva who is bewildered by Maya is first compelled to adopt the path of karma. Then he must adopt karma yoga. By the way, I'm hoping that some enthusiastic person will, on this particular page all about karma, delineate it nicely in a diagram, put out what is Shubha karma, Akarma, Vikarma, Kukarma, etc. And if it was all written out in a nice format so that people can very easily see at a glance what is success, what is Shubha and what is Ashubha. It'll be described, but just be thinking as we're reading how to place it in a diagram form because it's quite technical and it would be helpful to have it in a diagram form. I don't have a diagram of this yet. The jivas who are bewildered by Maya, the jiva who is bewildered by Maya is first compelled to adopt the path of karma. Then he must adopt karma yoga. There's a difference between karma and karma yoga, followed by Gyan Yoga, and finally Bhakti Yoga. However, if he is not shown that all these are but different steps on the one staircase, the conditioned soul cannot ascend to the temple of Bhakti. It's natural that you will begin in Karma Yoga, trying to facilitate the pleasures of your material body. But then with a little bit of discernment, you start to think, well, there must be something more in life than this, satisfying my senses. Oh, the path of liberation, that seems more. But there's something else beyond liberation. This is a big step, the next big step. We call it bhukti, mukti, and bhakti. These are other three terms for this. Bhukti, mukti, spriha yavat, pischachi, hridi, vartate. These two witches of bhukti and mukti. What does it mean to adopt the path of karma? Karma consists of the activities that one performs with the body or mind in the course of maintaining one's life. Everyone has to maintain their life, so we're all performing our karmas. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says this world is a place where the enthusiastic jiva is desperately trying to fulfill his karmas, dancing on the stage of life. He says like this very beautifully. There are two types of karma. Now, this is where we need the diagram. It'll be helpful. Auspicious, Shubha, and inauspicious, Ashubha. The results that the jiva obtains by performing Shubha karma are auspicious, whereas those that he obtains by Ashubha karma are inauspicious. Ashubha karma is also known as sin, pap, or prohibited acts, vikarma. The non-performance of Shubha karma is known as akarma. If you're not doing your dharmic duty, it's akarma. Both vikarma and akarma are bad, whereas Shubha karma is good. So there's distinction. There are three types of Shubha karma: obligatory, daily rites, nitya karma; circumstantial duties, naimitic karma; and ceremonies performed out of a desire for personal benefit, kamya karma. It's very clear the way he explains it. Kamya karma is completely self-interested and should be rejected. The Shastras direct us to adopt nitya karma and naimitic karma initially. Naimitic karma. The Shastras have considered what is fit to be taken up and what is fit to be abandoned. The Shastras are our dearmost friends. We must touch the Shastras regularly, daily, to actually go forward in this maze of options that the material soul finds himself in this world. Naimitic karma and karmya karma the Shastras have considered what is fit to be taken up and what is fit to be abandoned, and they have classified nitya karma, naimitic karma, and kamya karma as karma, all three. Whereas akarma and kukarma, impious activity, have not been included in this category. They are not categorized as being favorable for the jiva. Although kamya karma is counted as karma, it is undesirable and should be given up. So only nitya karma and naimitic karma are truly acceptable as karma. He's defining karma. Nitya karma is karma that produces auspiciousness for the body, mind, and society, and which results in promotion to other planets after death. Everyone is obligated to perform nitya karma, such as chanting the Brahma Gayatri mantra at the three junctions of the day, Sandhya Vandana, offering prayers, using honest means to maintain one's body and society, behaving truthfully, and caring for one's family members and dependents. He's answering Lahari Maharshai's question here. Lahari Maharshai has asked the question about why the Vaishnavas not respect more this this Sandhya Vandana. Why they're not respecting that more? And Vaishnava Das is explaining that they do, but they see it in its particular place. He's going to explain. Naimitic karma is karma that one must carry out under certain circumstances or on certain occasions. For example, performing rites for the departed souls of one's mother and father, atoning for sins, and so on. This is naimitic karma, circumstantial. The authors of the Shastras first examined the natures of human beings and their natural eligibility traits, and then established Varnashram Dham. So he said this many times, the distinction between the jivas, they're not all the same. There's separation here. So the Varnashram system was to create a system where all the different adhikas could actually unify and progressively work towards serving Krishna. The ultimate goal is to bring us to the spiritual platform of bhakti. That is the objective, always that objective. Their intention was to prescribe a system in which nitya karma and naimitic karma could be carried out in an excellent way in this world. How kind of them, really. The gist of this arrangement is that there are four natural types of human beings, classified according to the work that they are eligible to perform: Brahmanas, teachers and priests; Kshatriyas, administrators and warriors; Vaishyas, agriculturists and businessmen; and Sudras, artisans and laborers. People are also situated in four orders or stages of life. Interesting that today the artisans are considered like the famous people of the world. They're the people that the populace look up to. Everything is upside down, completely topsy turvy. People are also situated in four orders or stages of life, which are known as ashrams: brahmachari, unmarried student life; grihastha, family life; vanaprast, retirement from family responsibilities; and sannyas, the renounced ascetic life. Those who are fond of akarma and vikarma are known as antyaja, outcast, and they are not situated in any ashram. Antyaja. If you're not following, if you're rejecting, like most people are actually antyaja. In India, there is still a semblance. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada described this Varnashram system like a dead elephant. Even an elephant dead can be very glorious. If you see a dead elephant stretched out, it somehow has a mightiness about it. There's some speciality about it. But the Varnashram system, principally in India, has degenerated completely. But still in the villages, many of the dharmic behavior patterns are still there, are still running. People aspire for a dharmic life, but it's not easy. And if they're not even aspiring for a dharmic life, they are 100% antyaja, outcast. The different varnas are determined by nature, birth, activities, and characteristics. When varna is determined only on the basis of birth, the original purpose of varnashram is lost. Just like in the example of Parashuram, his father Jamadagni, great, great Brahminical personality of great Brahminical power. Parashuram was born as his son and had great Kshatriya qualities. He killed 21 generations of Kshatriyas with his axe. He had that spirit. So he shouldn't be considered entirely. He is of Brahminical seminal descent, but at the same time, he had a Kshatriya spirit. So there's a distinction there. But if the Varnashram doesn't accommodate the different natures in people, then it's no longer functioning for its full purpose. Like a very wealthy man can have a son who's a complete like barbarian idiot, and or wants to be a soldier in the army or something. Completely different to the wealthy, say, Vaishya's um, uh, profession. So it can't be based on birth, not at all. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying this very clearly here. Ashram is determined by the various stages of life, depending on whether one is married or unmarried, or has renounced the association of the opposite sex. Married life is known as the Grihastha ashram, and unmarried life is known as the Brahmachari ashram. Disassociation from spouse and family is characteristic of the Vanaprastha and Sannyas ashrams. Sannyas is the highest of all the ashrams, and the Brahmanas are the highest of all the Varnas. This conclusion is established in the crest jewel of all Shastras, Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 17, 15 to 21. So now we're going to have a whole list of Shastric descriptions of the different Varnas, etc., which is very important to appreciate and have faith in, coming directly from Shastra. This is about the Varnashram. And then Vaishnav Das is going to place this understanding within context of Lahari Mahashai's question of why the Vaishnavas honor the different um, eligibilities of the different personalities in the world, and the distinction, unless this is appreciated carefully, will not be able to. If you're substantiating that only these Sandhya Vandanam is the principle, is the topmost, like Hari is thinking, but actually Shuddha Bhakti is not being described in that. Raganuga Bhakti is certainly not described in that. Vaishnav Das has already described, he's touched on the distinction between Vaidhi and Rag. But this is going to come out more. This is a very deep topic. It's a very powerful topic. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very merciful in spelling this out very clearly. So we'll discuss these distinctions tomorrow. Jaiva Dharma ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Vanashram system ki jai. Golda Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuka Guru Varga ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Vaishnavas ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhavevacha, Patitanam Pavnivyo, Vaishnavevyo Namaha.